Arcane Season 2, Episodes 4 through 6, the second batch. Let's talk about it. I think it was absolutely arresting filmmaking. I think it's probably the best animated work that I've seen in recent memory, possibly ever, for various reasons, which we're going to talk about. If you want to see more of my League of Legends art analysis, please check out my deep catalog of League of Legends videos that I've broken down on this channel. Spoiler warning for that second batch. We're going to be discussing the final scene. Arcane has done it again. And I think what's always so impressive about Arcane with this scene, once again, is we have them using tools, which sort of in recent years in a very postmodernism mindset have been put a little bit to the wayside. Postmodernism saying we're not going to use tools like montage. We're not going to use tools like kind of, a music, cut to the music, to the beat in a film. It's overdone, it's overused. Arcane not only leans into this amazing tool, but almost reinvents it to the point where you feel like you're seeing a new tool for the first time because the music is so perfectly cut together. It is so just distinctively readable. The choices that they make. For example, we have the final scene, again, spoilers, Isha rushing and making this decision to sort of save Jinx. And not only we have this incredible symbolic motion happening, this sort of layered symbolism, and Aaliyah actually pointed out to me, my fiance, right after we watched, she said, oh my goodness, what happens in episode 3 of the first season? Jinx, of course, the blue hair sort of mimicking the imagery here, actually sort of kills Vander with an explosion of her tools, which she can't really control. This sort of chaos, this destruction that seems to happen all around her to the people that she loves. And now we have Isha sort of almost doing a mirror image of that, taking the tool that Jinx made, but to save her, blowing up this sort of explosion on Vander again, and almost like an inversion of it, and Jinx seeing that her destruction can be used for good. I think it's going to be a turning point for Jinx. It is destruction, it is chaos, but it can be used for a good purpose instead of just sort of unrelenting chaos and annihilation to anybody in her path. And it's just, the scene itself is so powerful. And I think one of the most beautiful moments, again, cut to the music, masterful cutting here, is when we have the perspective of Isha, when we switch to her point of view, taken over, and we see the memory from her perspective, from a child's memory. And it's just, it hits you like a ton of bricks. You see her and Jinx from the perspective of a child, these kind of, childlike forms dancing around and everything. Incredibly well executed and meaningful portrayal of a child's memory. And you understand it instantly. It's readable. And it's because we've shifted the camera to the perspective of Isha, and you instantly understand that shift, right? So that's where I talk about the readability being just clean, constantly clean in Arcane. There's no sort of sloppiness. There's no kind of like, oh, okay, I caught that. It's a really nice idea, but okay, I understand it after the scene. No, I'm instantly engaged in the scene, instantly grounded in this perspective from a child. Isha runs towards it, and we see this sort of memory evolving a little bit from almost like this doll-like imagery, this very like cloudy, almost like pastel imagery to represent her and Jinx playing. And it hurts so much, but it's so beautiful. It really is just the idea of life in a nutshell, right? And humanity and mortality. It's beautiful, it hurts, it's meaningful because it's mortal, because it's short. So it's just, wow, a finite thing. And she runs up, and we have the music welling up. There's a particular shot when she jumps into the air, and it's like a freedom, and it's an identity, and it's a celebration of Isha saying, I'm gonna make this choice to do an act of love for Jinx, who is essentially my mother or sister figure. It's a celebration of that decision, and you can feel it just echo through the scene, instantly identifiable meaning. And they're just so good with that readability. Do you see what I mean? You can instantly recognize that, and then the symbolism echoes through it, and it's a celebration versus the tragedy of when Jinx's tools, her toys, caused everything to go wrong. It's like, yes, we're going to use these tools, but for something that is going to hurt, that is going to be a tragedy, but it's also going to save a lot of people, including you. you need to be saved sometimes. So it's just such a beautiful scene. And then we have this sort of antithesis of that is pure chaos. Is Jayce, sort of crashing out, as they say, just pure chaos, meaningless chaos. Jayce just annihilating people in his path, goes and just destroys Viktor, his once very, very close relationship, just blasting him into oblivion in like a crazed daze without meaning, without even an understanding from our perspective of why he's fully doing this. Just annihilates him. And it's painful. It's sad. And you have, I'm going to assume the violin was by, I believe his name is Ray Chen, who did the first season as well, like in the song with Sting and everything. Just chill-inducing, arresting scene. As this sort of the energy is welling up, and Jayce is kind of trying to fight it, and Viktor is just sort of accepting his fate as he's meditating on life itself, on the arcane, on chaos, and then just unleashing of destruction, all interwoven with the scene with Jinx and Isha and Vi. There's a couple of still frames, and again, I really want to cover these scenes. I really want to break down these scenes. Copyright makes it nigh impossible, like almost impossible to do. Incredible shots. You have Jinx. There's this one shot of Jinx, and they play with color so well, and they actually take away color in this shot, because you have this sort of flaming background with this kind of like burnt umber background rising up, and then you have Jinx just crossing the frame, and it's not a still frame. It's just slowed to a dizzying pace, almost like a dream. But the color is retained in the characters that is the focal point, that is the subject. Just incredible frames at work here. That was great as well. And then I'm gonna push you back. So I want to hear your thoughts on that scene. What else did you catch? Because it is a smorgasbord of content and meaning. Like I said, I would break down every shot, pause, and talk about why it's great. So we'll do that, hopefully. Also, I want to talk about, there's another scene that was just a standout to me. Pretty much all of them are. And this is funny. There's times in Arcane when I'm like, I almost try to catch them. I'll be like, is there any scene that was phoned in? It's just kind of sloppy, kind of rushed to, put all the budget into the other scene. There's really not. There's just no moment where Arcane is sloppy, phoned in, or lazy. It's just all inspired. It's crazy. Even the scene with Mel in the cell, which is another great scene, when she gets kind of like, these chains show up and capture her and contort her, and there's like the roses conquering her face. It's so well done and so grating and uncomfortable. But again, the readability is there. It's so great. And this has to do with the performances as well. Performances are top notch. Beyond the sort of filmmakers themselves, the performers are out of this world. Obviously, it's world-class stuff. And then we have the scene with Vi. Sort of goth Vi is born in this scene, which I know a lot of people were talking about, right? But for me, the sort of redesign of the character is amazing. But beyond that, the scene of just, again, that readability of what the character is feeling. I don't believe there's any dialogue spoken in the scene. If there is, it's very sort of auxiliary, kind of like echoing under the music, as she's like struggling through this depression, this rage, this sort of, I'm going to lean into fighting to be self-destructive. And it is just, you can feel the echoing of those pained feelings of Vi. Like when she's fighting, getting hit, is drunk. There's a beautiful shot above her bed with a wide angle lens. It's just wide enough, and they've positioned the camera just perfectly so you can see over at the sink, you can see her bed, and it's like this tiny claustrophobic existence, which is very much what she's feeling right now. And we're cutting as the days go by. She's asleep, passed out, drunk. She's in the mirror screaming. She's pacing. She's enraged. It's beautifully done. It's incredibly done. And that's what I want to say. Like, these are tools that have been used in the past by other filmmakers, but like any good artist, they're sort of making the tool their own, and to the point of such clean execution, such inspired execution of said tools that you feel like you've never seen it. Do you see what I mean? And that's what makes it special to me. So that was another standout scene. The scene with Mel in the cell with her, brother, her fake brother, very well done. And sort of the uncomfortable feeling of all that was amazing. The choreography, the fighting, incredible once again. And Viktor, what an interesting character. What an interesting character Viktor has turned out to be. And actually, I can't recall his name. Who's the scientist? I think they only said his name like once because he was a mystery figure. Who was the scientist who Viktor was a student of? It's escaping me. But yeah, he was great as well. But this idea of Viktor kind of becoming this power, but every time he cures somebody, and I actually wondered this when I first saw that, you see his markings upon them. And it is like a finite source of this power. I thought that was a really cool idea. And his sort of scientist mentor instantly recognizes that you can only do this so long. You're losing power the more you heal people. And then he's a part of them. Hence why when he dies, is he dead? It certainly seems like it. He took a pretty solid hit there. They are dying too, or suffering, or losing their minds, becoming zombies. We don't know. It's just such a cool concept. And I really love that idea of a healer, much like any healer kind of in reality does, definitely gives some of themselves to the person who needs the healing and sacrifices a bit of themselves. You know, even with simple of like, someone who was to deal with people's trauma and sort of like just take in all that trauma, all that you're going to be hurting yourself by doing that. But of course it's for the greater good. You're willingly sort of taking all that in to help the people, right? So it's kind of a cool personification of that idea with Viktor, and I really liked it. Also, Jayce is like, I think it really is just the embodiment of chaos, and I thought that was such a great idea to have it be that way. Another scene that stood out was, of course, the flashback with Vander and then Vi and Jinx's mother. What a nice scene. What a meaningful scene to include in there, and to see. I'm actually really curious who the voice actor was of the mother, because we were like, is that? It sounds like both of them. It sounds like both of the daughters. It's incredibly well done. Voice acting, sort of imitative, or just thought it was going to be Vi's actor just kind of doing the voice a little bit different. But yeah, incredible performance either way. And just what a nice scene to kind of have Vander. And let's talk about it, right? The scene where Vander comes back. It's just, it's so well executed. And the sort of build up, and then Vi. It's the moment that Vi trusts Jinx once again. And let's talk about it. How do you guys feel about Vi and Jinx and their relationship? I've seen some discourse about it. I think it was paced well, because I think it was paced realistically. The main catalyst, and I actually saw Christian, one of the showrunners, the creators of the show, speak on this and say, the catalyst for that is the urgency of their father. Like, they need to help their father. So there's not really time to whine about it anymore. Right? It's like, okay, what are we doing? Are we going to kill each other? Okay, we're not going to do that. So what are we doing? Are we going to help our father or not? Are we going to keep arguing? And then, of course, you have the catalyst of Isha being there as well. And it's just like, I thought it was really well done. And it was sort of from a place of necessity. And then it was a choice on Vi's part to be like, yeah, I'm going to trust her. I'm going to drop my gauntlets. And then Vander comes up, and instead of fighting and killing her, there's a hug. And I thought it was really cool I think it was from the battle with Vander that all of the mushrooms, or all the sort of fungi that lit up every time he clapped, really cool idea, they were sort of eliminated. So then in the aftermath, there's a tension building of what is Jinx going to see with this little match that she has. What is she going to see as she's wandering forward? And of course, she's the hug. And that's what we all wanted to see. So why I love Arcane, I think they're very good at this, is, a lot of the time there will be tragedy. There will be not exactly what we want to happen to the characters per se, but once in a while they give us this, please just let it be a hug, and it was very meaningfully done. I thought it was a great scene, and then so that whole going through the sort of mushroomery was really cool, because it took Vi, when you see them be like, yeah, our dad's over here, she's like, yeah, my sister's completely insane. She thinks our father, who is definitely gone for a very long time, very, very long time, is just hanging out in this cave. Okay, I guess I'll walk. But it's kind of like a sad humoring of her. It's like, yeah, Jinx is dead and lost her mind, essentially. So yeah, why? It's almost pathetic. She's like, yeah, I'll just follow along. You're gonna really make this kid believe your insanity too? That's crazy. And they have their petty arguments. But then I love that this is what gets Vi to realize, like, no, she is still in there. She really is. And it's that trust that comes back. And I thought that was really, really touching scene, that she drops her gauntlets and says, for once, I'm not just gonna fight and kind of turn off my emotions. That's really what that goth Vi montage was, right? Turning off my emotions. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna get beat up so I don't have to think about it, and I'm gonna drink myself into oblivion so I don't have to feel anything. So it was really cool for her to say, no, let's feel it. Let's drop the gauntlets and let's be a sister. Let's be a daughter again. And I thought that was just chilling. It's really, really well done. So just high marks across the board. I mentioned Mel, really cool, really, really creative stuff, sort of being trapped in there. And then there's like puzzle on the wall. I love when she attacks her fake brother because he got a little too weird. She realized it, kind of pushes the head into the wall, and then you see this sort of like shapeshifter cycling through the different people that it's captured. It's really, really cool stuff. And let's talk about Mbessa. What are your thoughts on Mbessa? I thought it was a really compelling character because in the first season, almost seems like she's going to be a little bit more in the background, but I like how much they've included her and her sort of machinations in the foreground. And I thought it was really, really cool how she's training Caitlyn up to be this sort of just like her, right? A ruthless ruler, an effective ruler, but very ruthless. And then we have this scene where they're training together. It was very great. I liked it just from the martial arts perspective. Of course, you guys know I love martial arts and choreography, but also from the perspective of character. Very, very cool. And you see Caitlyn sort of embracing that violence and that culture, that ideology. Then she hears the word cupcake again from Vi, completely head empty, drooling. Let's do it. Let's be a rebel. I thought it was great. And then I'm curious about this girl. What is her name? The girl that Caitlyn has a little fling with, rebound with. I can't remember her name. Something's up with that girl. Something's going on there, right? She's just everywhere. She's kind of weaseling her way in and like saying just what needs to be said to people. I don't know. I don't know if I trust her. What do you guys think? Anyways, I love it. I love that Caitlyn sort of remembers herself in this way, remembers how she was, and she takes action. And there's the great fake out where she brings Vi in, and I really hoped, I think she's helping her, and I'm glad that they did that. And then of course she has given Vi a sort of way to escape, and it was just so satisfying. It was really, really satisfying. And then of course the tragedy of Vander being, he was about to get his self back. He's about to have his identity back fully. And they had that moment where he was able to speak to them and hold them and stuff. I thought that was really beautiful. And then of course, not being fully healed, I don't believe, by Viktor, but enough where, holy mama, he was just, lava is coming out of him. Essentially, he's burning to death. So I think what they were saying with that was, he's officially lost now. He's become a monster completely. There's no more Vander inside, and he's just going to kill until he dies. And they're murdering him anyway. So he was going to kill Jinx, kill everybody, essentially. So Isha made the decision to go and stop him with Jinx's tool. And I thought it was just such a good scene. It's got to be one of my favorites, I would say, along with Jinx versus Vi from this season. Of course, the ending of last season. There's just so many good examples of how Arcane is on a level, and it's almost tragic because there's been some talk of this. The budget that Arcane has is, it's a lot, and I love it because it gives artists just a way to truly express themselves. And I'm going to say this is a controversial take. I think it looks 100 times better than Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the sequel. Just gonna say it looks 100 times better, 100 times more inspired, less sort of 3D rigged as those movies look. They're fantastic, but as they look to me, and oh man, this is just, it's on a completely new level. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, the budget is not really sustainable for anything else because Riot apparently has so much budget that they can just dump into it, and it's exceeding. I saw another director I love. Samuel Dietz, the director of Castlevania, Netflix. Ooh, great show. We got to talk more about that too. I believe he said on Twitter that one episode of Arcane is more budget than multiple full seasons of Castlevania. It's like, wow. I mean, you can believe it from like the hand painted just insanity that's happening on screen and the texture of it and then the life of every frame of every shot. Like I said, at times I'll be like trying to see if they shortcut anything, and it just doesn't happen. Everything is so inspired. But yeah, unfortunately, you probably won't see too much. Like I mentioned in my last video, my review of episodes 1 through 3, season 2, that I would love to see some Sanderson works in this art style. I'd love to see Stormlight Archive, Mistborn. I think it would be so good in this style, but just the budget it would be untenable. It'd be unimaginable for a story that's 1,000 pages, right? But anyway, just some thoughts on it. Nothing but good things to say, guys. I'm trying to think of other standout scenes, but just overall, I think it's fantastic. The pace is breakneck this season. We talked about this last time. It's like almost feels like it might start to feel rushed, but it's so clean. You know what I mean? Like it all makes sense. It's all readable. So it's not rushed. The only reason it feels like that is because last season was a slower pace. But knowing that there's only 3 more episodes left in Arcane, period, you gotta do this. You gotta keep it really, really tight, really effective, and you can't really take a whole episode just to have explore a character moment. So I respect what they're doing with it because there's just so much happening in every episode. Right, and there's so much richness to every scene and character moment. It's all still there. The sort of character richness of the first season. It's just like kind of packed in more. It's more is happening. So the last 3 episodes, wow, I don't know what to expect, but I will tell you, it's exceeded my expectations. I don't know why I even say this. I don't know why I didn't expect it to exceed my expectations, or why I had not raised my expectations, because it's just so consistently good. But yeah, I dare say it's even better than season 1. It has been a couple years since I've looked back at season 1, so I might have to compare. But it's just, like I said in my last review of season 2, you almost forget, because it's been a couple of years, how good it looks. It's really, there's nothing like it. And I'll say this too, for my League of Legends fans, I've covered and broken down shot by shot, I think, most League of Legends cinematics that exist on this channel. And I mean, I think Arcane blows them out of the water, completely dwarfs them just in its vision, its grandeur, its beauty. And those are fantastic, by the way. I'm not saying they're not good. They're incredible cinematics for the most part. I think I like pretty much all of them, and this is still better. So yeah, I'm just trying to tell you, to me, how much it raises the bar in animation, in storytelling, and it's just so inspiring. It's so inspiring. So anyways, I think that's my basic thoughts on it. I could go through more scenes, but I covered my ones that were just like, I needed to talk about them till the cows come home. And I'd be happy to talk more in the comments. If you guys want to share your thoughts, or if you disagree with me, please let me know. And more importantly, did I miss anything? Is there any sort of other ideas, symbolism, and thoughts that were provoked by the episodes unto you? So let me know. But beyond that, guys, make sure to subscribe on this channel if you want more of my art analysis like this. If you want to see my film work from the Shaolin Temple, check out my main channel. If you want to see my recent sort of short film proposal to my fiance and my forging of the ring, check out my couples channel with Aaliyah. Very, very proud of that, and very, very honored with the response to it. Thank you, everyone who supported us. We got interviewed by Good Morning America too, if you want to see that. That is on our social media and Instagram accounts. Thank you, guys. I love talking about Arcane. Like I said, my dream is kind of to break down the scenes. So not sure if it's possible with copyright, but oh boy, would I love to. So like I said, this penultimate scene from the season, and Vi versus Jinx from episode 3. Oh man, if I could break those down, I could talk about it all day. So anyways, thank you, friends. I'll be hopping on stream possibly later today for some Dragon Quest 3 or more Baldur's Gate with Aaliyah. We'll let you know about it, but thank you. And as always, let me know what I should react to in the comments. If there's any other video game cutscenes that you want me to check out. Thank you, friends, and have an amazing day.